Now, with this Drake album, though, if you're a Drake fan, if you've ever been a fan of Drake, I don't know how this is not already one of your favorite Drake albums ever. I don't understand. It, like this, from top to bottom.
All right, now, since Iceman has came out, we had to see what the OVO Superman had to say himself, Mal, from the Rory and Mal Podcast. They gave a little review on Iceman. We gonna check this out real quick. Y'all better like the video. Y'all better subscribe. Let's get it.
Drake has one of the craziest bars, I think, in rap. One of the slickest bars in rap history and make them pay for sure.
Which is what?
Which bar would it be?
The Aiden Ross.
Sorry, but yeah, we're talking about that on stream.
No, seriously, that's one of the slickest bars in rap history. You know, first of all, Drake didn't write that. The universe wrote that. You know what had to happen for that bar to like, just think about that. You know what had to happen for that bar to happen?
What had to happen, Mark?
Okay, so two people had to meet up and make love and have a kid named Aiden Ross.
You think he was made out
and
of
then
love?
that kid Aiden Ross had to grow up. That kid Aiden Ross had to grow up and become a screamer.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
And then he had to get a steak deal and meet Drake.
It's a lot of things that had to happen for that bar to happen, which is why that bar is one of the slickest bars in rap. Listen, when Drake played that, imagine hearing that song and then you can't tell nobody about that song.
Yeah. No, it's great.
Like when I heard that song and I heard that bar, I was just like, all right, man, like how am I supposed to like just keep this like under wrap? Like I just heard some of the greatest raps from one of the greatest artists in the history of music, and I can't tell nobody about this shit.
But also, you forgot the other side of that. You told the Aiden Ross life story. I think some other medical help needs to happen as well to bring that bar together. Someone needs aid.
Well, yes. I mean, that's what I'm saying. The universe the universe wrote that bar. It was the universe. It wasn't Drake. Drake didn't write that bar. It was the universe. But yeah, though, to me, I'm still living with the album. It's again a lot of music. I think these albums, all three of them, are gonna sound better as time goes on. As time passes, I think the music is gonna sound better, especially Maid of Honor and HABIBTI. I think those two albums are gonna sound better. The Iceman album, I think people already get it and understand.
Yeah, straight to the point.
I think people feel that music already. Maid of Honor, HABIBTI. By the time people look up and they're kind of like, oh shit, like you outside moving around and you start seeing like at the after party, shout out Noel and Mark. Noel was playing I think Whole Phase. And at first, because it's like you gotta shout out to Gordo too.
Gordo's very talented.
Because at first you gotta kind of like catch the beat. And it's like the way it starts and then the way what it goes into is something totally different. But you can see the women like, cause Noel played it, he brought it back a couple times. So you can see the women catching it like, and they kind of giving each other that look like, oh, this is gonna go crazy.
Yeah. And
that's what I think a lot of people are gonna do with those albums. Just once you start moving around and outside and get to live with the music a little bit, I think those songs are gonna start to land and hit you. Once again, you kind of get there. Iceman, I think everybody unanimously, again, there's people that hate it, but that's part of it. You know what I mean? Like that's even people that hate. You know what I'm gonna start doing?
What? I
think we gotta start, because again, all of this is preference and taste, right? When people be like, I don't like this, I don't like that. And sometimes we don't understand it because some of us are just unanimously sometimes like, this is incredible. I want to start asking people when it's like undeniable, great, dope shit in front of them, when they be like, nah, I don't like that. We got to dig deep and ask other questions. Like, yo, what's your favorite restaurant?
Okay.
Like, what's your house smell like? What's your favorite cologne? What's your favorite scent? What's your favorite? You gotta get more into the person, and then you'll start to understand why this doesn't, whatever it is, whether it's Iceman or whatever, you know what I mean? Like why this doesn't land with them. Like why don't you like this? How can you not appreciate this music and this and this level of artistry? How does this not resonate with you?
I can understand how things cannot resonate with people, but
me too. I get it.
People have to learn to say is that things aren't like, this isn't bad just because you don't resonate with it. Just say it's not for you, and that's okay. Sometimes shit just ain't for you.
Yeah, like I do that all the time with Cardi. Playboy Cardi. I don't understand it. It doesn't resonate with me. I get that he's a star. I get that he has a insane following. It's just that it doesn't resonate with me. I'm not saying it's bad, it's terrible. Just for me, it just doesn't. That's not where I am. Now, with this Drake album, though, if you're a Drake fan, if you've ever been a fan of Drake, I don't know how this is not already one of your favorite Drake albums ever. I don't understand it. Like this, from top to bottom, like Roy said,
which one though? It's 3 hours. It's 3 hours.
Iceman.
So I was gonna say I don't want to talk about all three.
No. I'm
albums,
talking
like
about Iceman. I'm talking about Iceman.
Okay.
Iceman to me is easily like Maid of Honor and HABIBTI is just Drake showing his range of the type of music and the sound and the energy that he can create. That's just him. He didn't have to throw the pass behind his back, but he did. You know what I'm saying? It's like you could have just handed it off, but that's him just styling and showing you, oh, I can do all of that. Like, let me see what y'all gonna say now.
All right, so let me answer some of these questions for Mal, okay? Because he said the people who don't like the album, but I do like the album, but I still want to answer these. What's my favorite restaurant? I don't really have a favorite restaurant, but I do like Middle Eastern food, okay? I love a good shish tawook. Sometimes I can do a little lemon on it. Just hold the almonds in the rice, okay? If y'all know what I'm talking about, you know ball. What my house smell like? I like a lot of citrus kind of smells, so the house kind of smell like grapefruit, maybe a pear. Even when he was asking what's your favorite scent, those are some of my favorite scents, okay? And my favorite cologne, my favorite house is Louis Vuitton. I love Pacific Chill. And what's my other favorite cologne by Louis Vuitton? Symphony. Oh, Symphony. Beautiful. A lot of those fruity kind of smells. Pause. Okay, no Diddy.
Hey, no Diddy, man. No Diddy.
So you can see I'm a man of great wealth and taste, okay? And I was thinking about that because, yeah, not even just people who don't like certain types of music, but I feel like people who aren't fans of the art, they usually have bad taste in everything else, right? You know, they like, yeah, I like to eat microwave dinners. Yeah, you know, I like to eat ramen noodles. Not even the good ramen noodles. You know what I'm saying? They don't even like to eat the ones that look like it might have came from Japan or it got the wet sauce. You know the one that come with the liquid sauce, not the one that come with like the seasoning full of salt and sodium. Some of y'all still use the whole bag. Like some of y'all need to cut back on that sodium. Just use half the bag and make sure it's kind of watered down because y'all doing a little too much. But I just noticed the people who don't like, you tell them, yeah, I was watching Godfather, and they say, Godfather? I never watched that. Oh, that movie is trash. And you like, hold on, The Godfather is trash? You never seen Pulp Fiction? You know, these are the people who we talking about. You know, what's your favorite cologne? They'll say Old Spice and Polo Sport. So I do think Mal was going somewhere when he said, yes, we do have to ask these people who clearly have no taste, what is your life like? What do you like to eat? What do you like to smell like? Now that has nothing to do with people disliking Iceman. I think a lot of people, like I said, some of them are just hating because they want to show I'm still Team Kendrick. And they don't understand there's nothing wrong with saying, hey, I like Kendrick, I like GNX, and I also like Iceman, or like some of the songs on here. Like, I feel like it's a lot of people who like some of these songs on the Drake projects, but because I don't like all of them, I'm just gonna completely categorize all the projects as trash. But even when I hear people do these reviews, they say, well, I like this song and I like that song. I like this song. I like that song. But let me just critique Drake for 10 minutes and tell y'all all the stuff I didn't like. So they'll spend 1 second on what they did like and then spend 10 minutes, 5 minutes talking about everything they didn't like. And that's why I said some people, I know what y'all doing and that's fine. And you can do that. The crazy part is when I see people out here who are upset that people like this album. Why do y'all like it? Why do you like Iceman? Oh, it's just the same garbage. This is what Kendrick was talking about. He's living up to everything Kendrick said. I don't understand why y'all like it. the album came and went. I'm not even thinking about Iceman anymore. I can't speak for everybody else, and you might have felt like you were being attacked when GNX came out. But when GNX came out, y'all didn't see me getting upset if people liked that album. I had a few critiques about the album, but I said, yeah, it's some jams on here. I wish I knew who some of these features were. But, you know, I wasn't upset if anybody liked GNX. But I really feel like it's a lot of people who they want to criticize anybody who enjoys this instead of just saying it's not for me. That's very wild too. Now, will I say this is the best Drake we've heard? I still don't feel like we've had enough time to digest this, right? Also, I think when you say the best, that's very subjective, because I almost think you attach music to the best times in your life, right? So if you my age, you think some of your best times was when you was probably in high school, when you was a little younger, or you were in college. You know, you relate music to when you were the most happy or the most satisfied in life. And so, yeah, it was times when I was feeling really good and I felt like I was on a high, and Drake was the soundtrack to my life at that time. So yeah, it's hard for me to look at my life now as an adult and I got all these bills to pay to say, you know what, I feel like this is the best Drake ever, right? You know, maybe if I just win $10 million and then the Drake album come out, I'll say, yeah, this is my favorite Drake of all time, because I'm sitting on a yacht listening to Drake with a whole bunch of women with thongs on. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I feel like it's too early to say if it's the best, but I feel like that's where the best comes from. But for right now in my life, to the things that I need music for, whether it's being in a car, going on rides, traveling, you know, going out, a little jam while you're cleaning up the house, all of that stuff, I feel like this new Drake album can meet those needs. And I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that. Because like I told y'all, and some of y'all who was paying attention, y'all know, I wasn't even really hyped for this album. It's hard for me to get hype anymore. It's hard. I think the last thing I was hyped for, it's funny because Mal was talking about how he doesn't get Playboy Cardi. I was hyped for a Whole Lot of Red. That was the last thing I can say I was genuinely hyped for. But nowadays I'm like, I don't know, because all of my favorite artists, they're getting older. And so I think I'm trying to brace myself for the drop, right? And look, Jay-Z never really fell off. So maybe I should pick up some of my, you know, feelings about my favorite artists like Kendrick, Drake, J. Cole. Because look, Jay, he just stopped rapping, but he never fell off. It wasn't like he was looking like Jordan when he played for the Washington Wizards or anything like that. So maybe I need to just start enjoying some of the music a little more. Even Kanye's last project was pretty good, you know? So let me know what y'all think about Rory and Mal and Damaris's opinion about Iceman. By the way, I meant to say this earlier. Y'all dudes on Reddit, the Damaris Hive, the Damaris Reddit page. Y'all know every time I talk about Rory and Mal, I gotta talk about that Damaris Reddit page. I follow it just because the comments are so crazy. Y'all really love Damaris, and there's nothing wrong with loving Damaris. Damaris is beautiful, but y'all do the most in that Reddit. That's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna say. That if I ever need a pick me up, all I gotta do is go look at the comments in the Damaris Reddit page. Oh my God. So I'll see y'all next time. Peace.